Okay, let's begin with question number 4 on this paper. Okay, let's move it to a whiteboard, please. Find the coefficient of x to the power of 3 or x cubed in this expansion, each of this. Okay, let's begin with the first one. Let's say 1 plus 2x and power of 6. So if you want to find the coefficient of x cubed, so we need to know the formula generally. So I'm just going to comment a little bit. So we use the binomial theorem on this. So the binomial theorem tells us that x plus y, the expansion of x plus y to the power of n, you can think of it like the rth term. Okay, the rth term will be, depending on the labeling actually, will be something like n choose r, or if I just write tr, the rth term. So n choose r. We can choose how we want to write the power. So in this case, I write like this, x to the power of n minus r, and then y to the power of r. Okay, the reason why I chose this particular form, or we can switch that powers the other way around, doesn't matter. It's the same thing. There's the flexibility within the theorem writing. Okay, let's try to apply this here first. So if I apply in this particular, the first question here. So, okay, the only thing is we're using the letter x. So I should have used the letter A and B. That means, okay, just modify a little bit. But good to see this kind of modification. So when you face a situation, they use the same letter again means, then we can use a different letter. Likewise, like this is A and B, use a capital A and B instead. So the theorem is still the same, A and B like that. So let's classify A as 1 and choose the B as 2x, and then the n is 6. Some people think better with theorems. So if it's helpful, you can use this way. So from which we can then deduce that. So T3, because we want to find the third term. So the R is 3. Please take note to get the coefficient of x cubed, because I can see it's just x there. So x to the power of 3. So according to the formula, this should be n choose r, or 6 choose 3. And then this is the term entirely. So a is 1 to the power of 6 minus 3. And the b, or 2x, is to the power of r, or just a cube. Okay, just put in the calculator, please. Or you can just, let's write it first. Let's use a calculator first. That means the 6 choose 3 will be 6, say 3, and then times 2 to the power of 3. The 1 to the power of something is just 1. So in other words, it just became 160 x cubed. Since they're only talking about the word coefficient, coefficient means we don't write the x. So the answer in this case will be 160 for the first part. Okay, let's try to solve the second part likewise, please. So for the second one, they want the coefficient of x cubed, but then in a product. So you got a product there. If you notice carefully, the second part of the product is same as the first part. So now what does this has to do with the same means? That means you must think and see. So you have to get the power of x cubed. There are only two ways here, because we're looking at the term here. This is 3x and all that. That means we can either take the term of power of x from here, because it's only 2, x and this. So either let me start with the 1 first. With the 1, the number 1 will times with the T3 from here. Did you notice that? Why T3 from here? Because the third term will have the power of 3. Plus with, from this side, it's going to be just negative 3x. This is the shadow of the meaning. Because the power x is already 1. That means here I must choose term 2 from this expansion. Can you see that? Because power 2 x square times x cubed. Term 3 automatically x cubed, here constant. So this is the calculation for the term with the power of x to the power of 3. Okay, let's just substitute, please. So this part is actually done, readily seen, because that is where we use this fact, because we already calculated earlier. So as I've said quite some number of times, the earlier part of the question will sometimes be useful. for a component of the question, as we can see here, not necessarily all of it. So this is negative 3x. And then at this point here, the T2, we just repeat using the formula. So it will just be, the n is 6, same n also, I'm not going to rewrite, 6 choose 2. The a is 1 to the power of 6 minus 2. And the b is 2x to the power of 4, right? Sorry, power of 2, right? See, wrong number. Power of 2. Okay, please take note of that. Power of 2, and then the r is 2. Okay, we just need to simplify this to get the answer. So what I'm doing is a term simplification first. I'm not talking about the coefficient just yet. Okay, negative 3x. Let's put this green thing entirely in the bracket so that it's easier to calculate it separately. So 6c2 multiplied by just 2 square. Because 1 to the power of something is just 1. So you would get 60 here, and then there's an x square. So now it makes sense. Everything seems to add up. So then we just calculate this first. So 160x cubed minus 180x cubed, from which we can then further deduce that this is negative 20x cubed. So from here, we only want the coefficient. Coefficient means, let's do not write the x, just the number in front of the variable. So coefficient is just this part. That means the answer for the second part is negative 20. Thank you.